Welcome to The Explainer. We're going to dive right into the art of persuasion today by looking at a super high-stakes, real-world example, recruiting. So how do you convince a total stranger to change their entire life? I mean, that's the million-dollar question for any recruiter, right? Well, today, we're pulling back the curtain on the real estate world to see exactly how it's done. And we've got something really cool, not just their official corporate scripts, but also a raw, unedited recording of a recruiter actually practicing his calls.
And this is where it gets really interesting. We get to put the polished theory, what the company thinks people should say, right up against the raw reality. Hearing someone actually stumble, refine their pitch, and figure out what really works over the phone. So let's break it down.
Okay, let's jump right in. We're starting with the opener, because those first few seconds, they can make or break the entire thing. It is all about that first impression.
So the official script gives us this. It's professional, it's direct, it talks about taking your business to the next level. It's fine, but let's be honest, it's also kind of generic, right? It's exactly the kind of thing you'd expect to hear on a cold call and probably tune out immediately. But now, listen to this. The shift in the actual practice session is huge. Forget the generic opener. He jumps right in with some really specific, powerful flattery. I was so impressed. You're clearly an agent who's going places fast. See what's happening? Suddenly, it's all about them, not the recruiter. The goal? Instantly lower their guard and start building a real connection. And this just lays out the strategy perfectly. You've got these 4 steps, but what the rehearsal really shows us is that step 2, that genuine praise, that's the secret sauce. You start with a real compliment, you make the person on the other end feel seen, feel important, and boom, they're suddenly a lot more willing to listen to what you have to say. All right, so a great pitch isn't just one size fits all, right? It's got to adapt. I mean, a top producing agent has totally different needs than someone who just got their license. And a good playbook knows this.
And just look at how the pitch pivots for each target. The brand new agent? They're worried about experience, so the pitch is all about training and support. The top producer? They've already made it, so you congratulate them and talk about how to achieve even more. And then there's the referral. You use that trusted name, Mary thinks you'd benefit, to get your foot in the door. The key takeaway here is huge. The pitch is never about the recruiter's company. It's always about solving the other person's problem.
Now, this next part is all about timing. A really smart recruiter knows that sometimes the absolute best time to call someone is when their world is a little chaotic.
This is just a masterclass in turning chaos into opportunity. So, let's say a competitor's office gets new management. What does that create? Uncertainty, fear, and that's the opening. The recruiter's call isn't just a cold call anymore. It's a lifeline. It's offering stability, a safe harbor in a storm. And that question, are you concerned about the future? Man, that's designed to hit that anxiety nerve directly. But here's the reality check. Nailing that perfect message, it's hard. And we hear it in the raw audio. The recruiter is literally saying, oh, this one sucks, scratch. He's struggling. He's getting frustrated. It's such a great reminder that this isn't magic. It's a messy process of trial and error, even for people who do this for a living. Okay, so you've nailed the opener, you've tailored your pitch, and then you hear it. The inevitable pushback. The no. This is maybe the toughest part of the whole thing, so let's see how the playbook handles objections. And here it is, the absolute classic. I'm happy where I am. We've all heard it, we've all probably said it. If you argue with them here, the call is over. So what's the move? Check out this technique. It's not about arguing, it's about reframing. The first thing you do is agree with them. That's great to hear. You're on their side now. And then you gently pivot. You reframe the conversation. It's not about leaving a place they're happy. It's about a no-risk chance to make a great situation even better. So subtle, but so effective.
Okay, now for a really tough one. My broker's a friend. This isn't about business anymore. It's about loyalty. It's personal. So how do you even begin to navigate that?
It's the exact same pattern. First, validate the feeling. Relationships matter, and I respect loyalty. You're showing you get it. But then comes the reframe. You pivot the conversation from personal friendship to professional responsibility. You're not asking them to betray a friend, you're asking them to do what's best for their career. It's a genius way to shift their entire way of thinking about the decision.
So, everything we've talked about, the opener, the pitch, handling the no's, it's all been leading up to this one moment, the ask. And what's really important to remember is that the goal isn't to get them to sign on the dotted line right then and there. It's just to get a yes to the next small step. The official script calls this a soft close, and it's brilliant. Listen to how it works. You owe me nothing, and you owe yourself the chance. All the pressure is gone. It puts the power completely in their hands. Suddenly, agreeing to a meeting doesn't feel like you're doing the recruiter a favor. It feels like you're doing something good for yourself. And when we go back to the rehearsal tape, this is exactly what we hear, just in a more direct way. Time and time again, the recruiter uses this simple question: would this week or next week be better? It's a classic alternative choice. It assumes they've already agreed to the meeting, and now the only question left is when. It's a super smooth way to guide them to that yes.
So, when you boil it all down, what have we learned? We've got a 5-step persuasion playbook that works for pretty much anything, not just real estate. Start with real praise. Make the message about them. Frame yourself as the solution to their problem. Don't fight objections. Reframe them. And always be closing for that next small step.
And that really leaves us with this final question. What this whole exercise shows us is that a script can give you the notes, the basic structure, but the real art, the real music of persuasion, that happens in the messy, real-world practice. It's in the fumbled words, the quick recoveries, and that genuine effort to actually connect with another person. Thanks for joining me.